What's going on? Welcome to VT Sports. I'm Danny Cannell alongside my guy Chris Mano. Episode 38, I believe, Mano, we're getting to. Yeah, we are cranking right along. And we got another good one lined up for you. NBA playoffs. Mano is wearing his Knicks gear. He is repping the home team squad. And you know
today.
what? They look pretty good. Spurs, OKC. That one is tied up at 1. That series has been a breakout party for Wembanyama after that game 1 sequence, but that series looks to be very competitive. We've got Matthew Stafford inks a new deal. Some news out of New York that might impact the New York Giants and Jackson Dart, his development as well. Plus, we've got a UFC card, and we've got some packs in here to rip open. As we typically do at the end of the show. But how we doing, man? We doing all right?
Good, man. Busy week, crazy week. I was up in New York before game 1.
Ooh.
Dude, I'm telling you, we talked about, is it a Knicks city? Bro, it's a Knicks city.
Oh.
I saw old ladies like 85 in Brunson jerseys, and I saw babies of like 5 months in Brunson jerseys, and it was crazy, and the place was nuts, man. It was awesome.
I was in New York City on Tuesday night.
Was that the day?
Yeah, that was game
okay,
1.
I was there too.
That was the kickoff. I thought about going by myself, but here's the thing, I'll go to the movies by myself. I really enjoy that. I've never been to a sports event by myself.
Okay.
I think it'd be maybe it would have been super cool and you find a spot. I mean, the tickets were off the charts. That's why I wasn't willing to pay that much.
I hear you.
But if you're sitting with some randos, that could be really hit or miss. Could be a blast. You can make all new friends. But I didn't have it in me to just pull the trigger on a solo ticket to a Knicks game. Although it probably would have been incredible.
It's funny, bro. My first Knicks game was solo. I happened to be in the city one night. Tickets were super cheap. This when they were really bad, and I just went and got one. But the beautiful thing about sports is, are you ever really alone? Especially in that building. I was talking to me and my wife were laughing about it the other day because I said, babe, already, I want you to pencil it in. If the Knicks win, I'm going up for the parade. And she's like, who are you going with? And I said, I'm not going with nobody. There'll be 3 million people there. I don't need to be with anybody. And she couldn't grasp that.
Yeah.
And one of our first dates, we went out to a restaurant in New York or a bar in New York. This is when the Yankees it was probably about 2019. And I remember DJ LeMahieu, Yankees great DJ LeMahieu, hit a big home run in the 9th inning against Houston to tie it. And I jumped out of my seat. This is the second date we've ever had. And I take the waiter, and me and him just started hugging and jumping. And she, till this date, she talks about it. And she's like, you didn't even know that guy. And I'm like, didn't matter.
That's sports.
For that 5 minutes, man, it did not matter one bit.
You know what I might have done if I had been there?
Tell me.
I might have left early.
You might have.
Because it looked like it was over, right? And I had to, I was working the next morning, 6 a.m. That's actually another reason I was exhausted. I had a long few days up in the Hamptons, so I was kind of tired. But I might have left, and then I would have been kicking myself because one of the best comebacks we've seen, or choke jobs, whatever you want to call it, depends on your perspective, took place. What a thrilling finish in overtime when they completely took over. And we see them move to 2-0 last night. I told Malik before I came in here, it's a wrap.
Yeah?
You don't recover from that. I think from game 1, you don't recover from that. The Knicks were already the favorite coming into the seed. They have the better roster. That is one of those defining moments where it is a gut check, and I just don't see Cleveland clawing their way back into making this competitive. Maybe they get one back in Cleveland, but I think this series is a wrap. We didn't give our official predictions. I probably would have said Knicks in 5, which is probably where it'll end up, but I think even more so. I think there's a chance there's a sweep.
Yeah, I think right now the big discussion is, are all losses created equal, right?
No.
And I think that's where a lot of people find themselves. I think for the Knicks, you just get an inordinate amount of confidence. You were supposed to beat these guys anyway. The rest versus rust thing became a huge deal because the Knicks came out absolutely flat, right? They were down in no time. They looked horrible. And then to be able to beat this team on a night where you play 7 good minutes and 41 bad ones, that's got to just inject you with confidence. Now you feel like these guys don't even belong on the floor with you. And you know the deal. When that happens when confidence is at an all-time high or an all-time low for an athlete, it's a wrap. I'm with you. I think 5 games. It's been weird, man. It's been a weird series in the sense that the Knicks are doing once they figured it out, what I expected. They're getting contributions from everybody, which is something you wouldn't have seen last year. They're going super deep to the bench. They're getting things from Alvarado. They're getting help from Landry Shamet. So guys that wouldn't have played before. But yeah, it's been an interesting one because Donovan Mitchell, who's usually super assertive, has seemingly taken a backseat to Harden, who's 35 now.
Right.
And Harden's not the same player. So I, as a Knicks fan, love it. But that's not a recipe for success, right?
No, I don't think so either. Going to the mindset of what it's like, some losses aren't created equal.
Yeah.
So one of my best games in college it's now known as the choke it doke. We were down 31-3. We scored 28 in the last 10 minutes in the fourth quarter of the game. The Gators. So it was like an arch rival of ours.
That's crazy.
And at the time, they still had ties. But we came all the way back. Yeah, here's some highlights. I love it. Malik's got some highlights from this one. Now, this makes me feel old because the grainy video is pretty bad. So, yeah, we were getting smoked, came all the way back, tied the game, and then because we tied them, they had us play a rematch in the Sugar Bowl. Like, that was our bowl game for both of us.
Okay.
And we absolutely knew we were going to win.
Yeah.
Like, because we had sucked all the life out of them. Like, we had devastated them. They blew the lead. They choked. And there was another thing that happened. It made the press that, here you go. Here's my only rushing touchdown of my career right here. Look at those Jets.
You're a good athlete. How could that be the only one?
Look at that. Oh, well, I'm not that good of an athlete compared to those guys. So it came out in the news. There was actually a fight at a Florida Gators team meal. A couple of teammates were fighting. There was a butter knife that was taken out. Yeah, it got ugly. We saw that news. And we're like, oh, we're going to win by
guys are done.
3 touchdowns. So, yeah, and we did go on to win that game. But I do think it goes back to what you're saying about, like, being able to come back. And then once you do, and you're like, oh, if we play at our best, they can't hang with us.
Yeah.
And I think that's starting to see with the New York Knicks. By the way, I thought you were going to jinx this thing because you told me a while ago, what was it? They were at 4 or 5 wins in a row.
Yeah.
Have they lost since then? They have
9.
still not lost.
9
in a
crazy.
row for the Knicks. Is it going to go? Are you sticking with 5, or are you going to think they sweep this one?
No. I go into very few series thinking sweeps. I think maybe gentleman's sweep is probably doable. I think maybe they get one in Cleveland. Right now, they're going to go back to a juiced-up building. If it's going to be one, I'd imagine it's probably game 3, right? But, like, it's been so many different things. I mean, Jalen Brunson, guys, I love that this guy is finally getting his flowers. Like, if you watch him day in and day out, like I've been fortunate enough to do for the last couple of years as a Knicks fan, you already know. I know he's got some of the accolades, but I think on, like, a national stage, finally the last week or so, I feel like everybody's giving him the credit that he deserves. They're not saying the storyline used to be, he's really good for a guy who's 6'2" and not super athletic.
Right.
But now it's kind of like, he's really freaking good. Like, this guy shows up every night. I got some Brunson facts that I just want to rip off for you real quick.
Let me hear 'em.
So, all-time points per game for in the playoffs. MJ is 33.4. Luka's 30.9. AI's 29.7. And Jalen Brunson, 4th with the Knicks, 29.7. He's one of 6 guards to average over 30 a game over a 50-game span. MJ, Jerry Rest, AI, Kobe, and Luka are the others. And the Knicks, in 21 years before Jalen Brunson arrived, 8 total playoff wins. In the 4 years since Jalen Brunson's been in the Big Apple, 33. So, guys, come on. He's the most clutch performer. You give him the ball down the stretch, you know exactly what's going to happen. And that's the thing about him. He's got to move for everything. He doesn't rely upon being the best athlete, right? Because there's always going to be some better athlete. But with a guy like him, that's so scary is he's got an answer for everything.
He might be the best closer in the game right now. I mean, the way he's been performing, the way he closed that gap, coming through for them in the end of regulation in game 1, coming through big in overtime. He is incredible. I do think this could, because he does not get mentioned as the top 5 players in the league currently.
No.
But if they take care of business here, if they go to the finals, and I don't think they have to win, but on that stage, if he's going toe-to-toe with SGA or Wemby or whoever he's playing against, I think that's when he'll finally start getting the credit that he deserves.
And I think that's the part of the problem is what you just said of why he doesn't get the love is because he plays the point guard in a league loaded with great point guards.
Right.
So he's going to go out there, and even though he's a phenomenal player, I don't think, and look, I could be wrong. I think there's nights where he could be, but he's not going to be the best guy at his position on the floor, right? Because SGA is SGA. So, I mean, that makes it tough for him because of the position he plays. But, yeah, man, I think doing it on that stage, leading a team, a legacy franchise like the Knicks who haven't had any success over – I mean, it's been 53 years now. It's crazy. So to be where he's at right now is amazing. The big discussion in New York right now is, and I'd love to get your perspective on it, I don't know if this says much about the Knicks franchise or Jalen Brunson's greatness, is they're saying Jalen Brunson wins a chip, he's the greatest Knick ever.
Whoa.
So we got Ewing, no chip. Melo, no chip. And really very minimal playoff success.
Right.
And everybody else is like Willis Reed.
Yep.
It's Walt Clyde Frazier. And
Right,
these
which
are guys
go way back. That's
like
a different
many
era.
of us don't even I know Walt Clyde Frazier as the Knicks broadcaster.
Right.
You know, so what do you think about that? Is that heavy? Because he's going to be it'll be
Those guys are legends of the game, right? But
Right.
That's how you become legendary, is you do legendary things. So
Right.
if Jalen Brunson does do that, I think he enters the chat,
Has
as
to,
the
right?
kids say, yes. And then it's kind of, what do you follow it up with? You know, like how many more times can you get to an NBA Finals? How many more times how much you were giving those awesome stats about how many points per game in the playoffs? Like, are you staying there? If you get more of those playoff appearances and you stay in that top 5 as points per game, then yeah, I think you do start to enter that conversation. So that is a pretty bold prediction, but I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah.
But let's see him do it first, right?
Yeah, and I think the way he does it, and like we said, like they're no longer prefacing with for a 6'2" guard who's like, a little kind of,
right.
I don't want to say skinny fat, but he's not like shredded or anything.
Right.
It's the way he dissects a defense is just so crazy, man. His footwork is like I've never seen. I mean, he's got some of the greatest
creation.
footwork. The way he can create space and bury it. And he's like the first guy, and I say this as a Yankee New Yorker, and you probably feel a lot of my New York love like when I talk about my sports.
Yeah.
Bro, it's the same feeling I got when Mariano would come into a game. And I knew.
Closer.
Don't stress, man. Mariano's here.
Yeah.
He's like one of the few guys, and it's a phenomenal comfort and luxury. I get the same feel about Mahomes a lot of times.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, as long as 15's back there, we're okay.
Yep.
And that's the feeling I'm starting to get with Jalen Brunson. Like, you keep it within striking distance. If you're within like 8 with 6 minutes to go or 5 minutes to go, and Jalen Brunson's on the floor, I'm like, well, it's not over. And if we have a lead, I feel comfortable because he's always under control, which is something like you see like more physically gifted point guards. I think of like a Russell Westbrook, or I think of like maybe an Anthony Edwards or a Stephon Castle on the other one.
Right.
Guys who are probably more athletic, but he just maintains poise and he's got complete control of every game.
Yeah.
Right. He can make the game. He plays it. He makes the game play to his strengths. He slows things down. He's always composed, and he never looks like the moment's too big for him.
So as we're going through some of these, John Starks coming up.
stud.
I think this is maybe the third best, Knick player that they're giving here. 9-4 finals. The dunk over Jordan was insane. He was an electric player.
Yeah.
That's where I think you start in a similar position. That's where you start vaulting him over that.
Well, John Starks, and I love him, and he was my favorite player as a little kid, but John Starks was a 6th man of the year and like never a all-NBA anything, maybe one all-star. Jalen Brunson's now going to be a 3-time all-NBA player. This year could be first-team all-NBA.
Right.
And I mean, yeah.
You know what's kind of crazy is that these videos, all these are 20 years old. And I think that speaks volumes about where the franchise has been, just in this mired down towards the bottom and trying to find their way. That's what's exciting. And I think that's why you're seeing the passion from the Knicks fan base. It's awesome.
And I want to give love to one more person who I've been hard on the whole year, and I didn't think he needed to be here in the beginning, and that's Mike Woodson.
Mm-hmm.
I was big, and I was really, really like dug my feet into the ground. Like, Tibbs got you this far. The team hasn't been relevant in 30 years. You don't fire him off of a conference finals appearance, but I'm going to eat my words happily and say shout to Mike Woodson, who kind of tweaked the offense midway through. He's got all the guys on board. He's playing 9 men deep. And I don't know if he's been so phenomenal as much as Kenny Atkinson's been really bad, or if it's like a mix of both. Because Kenny Atkinson, man, you can't have 4 timeouts at the end of the game. It's impossible, right?
No, you absolutely can't do that. That was brutal. All right, let's move on to the Western Conference, where we've got the Spurs and OKC knotted up at 1. We see Game 3 tonight. So we haven't got to discuss the Game 1 performance for Wemby, which at the end of the game, when he took over I don't know how far that three-pointer was, but
35.
Yeah, 35 feet. That was insane. The shot that he had earlier was off the charts. It was awesome. And then, so after that performance, then you're sitting there watching OKC with a must-win game, saying, all right, we cannot lose 2 games at home. They come up with a big performance. This thing, I think, could go the distance.
Yeah, and I think initially I thought, even though I'm a Knicks fan, I thought the Western Conference was the finals, right? I think a lot of us felt like that, right? The Western Conference is the finals. Whoever comes out of there is going to be your champion. But I'll tell you what, man, the more these teams beat the heck out of each other, and the more Wemby is getting his feet stepped on, and Castle's getting his hair pulled, and guys like the Spurs are down to a whole backcourt now. Dylan Harper's banged up, which is something I think we'll talk about. Who else? Somebody's missing. De'Aaron Fox, high ankle sprain. So he's sort of in and out of the lineup. He hasn't played the last 2. So I think, man, this thing goes the distance. It's great for New York or whomever comes out of the East.
Let them beat each other up.
Let them beat each other up. But it's been an awesome series. I think a couple of things, man, have kind of like mired it a little bit. There is just so much flopping going on.
Yeah.
Oklahoma City's a tough one to watch, man. I didn't feel like that before, but now that every game is in prime time and I watch them all, I mean, they got guys on the ground between Shea and Chet Holmgren. They're on the ground 30 times in a game, and now they're doing so it's funny, man, and I would love to get your thoughts. They're almost
my gosh,
everything that makes you dislike a team. Like, I don't like dirty players, and I don't like floppers. And Oklahoma City is just composed of guys doing dirty things. Like, you can see I'm sure Malik can pull it up. We watched Chet Holmgren stomp out Wemby's foot on a free throw.
Yeah.
Like, that can't happen. And then we saw Isaiah Hartenstein, who's a good player, pull Stephon Castle by the hair. It's like, guys, these things can't be happening. But the interesting thing is that none of them are getting called.
Right.
None of the flops, every one of the flops
Well,
are
they're
going.
on to him. I think, and that's one thing the officials are paying attention to. They see this all the time. Now, the Chet one, man, so there's a couple things you can do in the NBA. They're just subtle, like little dirty moves. That, to me, looks pretty obvious.
Oh, yeah.
That's about as obvious as it gets.
And
like,
you know
you're
what?
kind of messing with him.
Yeah,
You're
and
trying to get in his head. We did see an ejection earlier. Like maybe that's a part of their game plan. Try to get in his head. Test his, how much has he grown up?
That's a great call. I was thinking about that yesterday. We did see, because he was so like calm and composed his first couple.
Yeah.
And then you saw him throw that elbow last one. So now you see the little chink in that armor. Maybe we can go ahead and get under his skin. What I hate about that is, I think the only thing that separates Wemby, that stops Wemby from being like in that Mount Rushmore conversation when he's done, is his feet and his ankles and stuff like that. So the last thing I want, if you ask me right now, is Victor Wembanyama, if he plays a healthy 15-year career, bro, I think he's a Mount Rushmore type of guy with his skill set. But what worries me is injuries.
Right.
So I don't need you stomping on this guy's feet, please. Come on. What are we doing?
We don't want to see that at all. Definitely not. Mentioned injuries. Dylan Harper. There was an incident that happened during the game. Halftime, he comes running back out on the court, and he's sent back to the locker room. Here, this is pretty interesting. Watch the sequence unfold. Now, I don't know who the account was that pointed it out. I'm curious to know what you think of it. But he comes out. Somebody comes up to him, black shirt, little logo on the left. Somebody said, what was it, FanDuel that was accused? It was a FanDuel employee?
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. I think who that guy is going to play a vital role in this. And I think a lot of people are going to feel a certain type of way if that guy works for the wrong company. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the rumor I'm hearing also is that he went to the locker room with 12 and his over-under was 13 and a half. So people are like, you know what, man, that costs a lot of people a lot of money if he gets to his 13 and a half or he doesn't get to his 13 and a half, right?
Right.
That's one bucket.
Yeah.
He goes out there and gets one bucket, he goes from 12 to 14, and it changes a lot. A lot of money changes hands. So I got to be very interested to see who that guy is right there.
So I think it's a trainer. That to me looks like an athletic trainer, maybe an assistant trainer. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Because when the tweet that went viral, who referenced those numbers and put it out, the comments that were coming in were like, oh, you're crazy. And then he put in replies like himself in a tinfoil hat, like kind of joking around like I'm a conspiracy theorist. Like it wasn't a reporter. Like if this was somebody like Shams or somebody else, you're like, oh my gosh, this is an explosive story. I think this is more somebody made a joke and people started to run with it. And then there were some stats that showed you how much money people lost.
Yeah.
And then, click on that one. And then if you scroll to the comments, so there you go. There's actually a comment.
Community note?
Yeah.
But
I get 100% back to Spurs training staff. So that was what I thought.
Okay, so I guess what I would say is...
scroll down a little bit more. Watch the guy in his replies. I don't know if you can without being signed in. There was one of the replies is like the guy that sent the tweet is like, he's like, doing like a Dr. Evil. Like I'm just stirring up stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. I guess what I would say is this,
My
though.
goodness, the NBA could not afford that.
Well, I was going to say,
That
in
would
a
be
time where
disaster.
guys like Terry Rozier are getting thrown out of the league and we're starting to see guys suspended, because of stuff like this. We got that big gambling sting that happened with Coach Chauncey Billups and the Heat down here. And it's like... it's as simple as just getting on the horn real quick and just identifying who this guy is and putting that to bed immediately. Because the last thing you want is a professional league, that's bleeding right now. Like they're not doing great right now. Is people to start questioning like the legitimacy of your product. So,
I think that all the stuff you're talking about is why this tweet goes viral because it's believable.
Yeah.
Because you've seen all this
which
stuff.
in itself is a problem, right?
Yeah, it's a big problem. That's why I think the NBA is probably like livid that this comes out and people are even speculating and joking and having fun with it. Like, I'm surprised they haven't taken that video down, called social media and said, hey, get it off.
So do you think the move is to just ignore it and act like, oh, this is ridiculous? Or do you just come out and be like, guys, we just want to clear this up right now? Because it could be done in one tweet.
Well, I think they probably did, right? I mean, I think they probably, the Spurs probably said after the game, our trainers wouldn't let him back out there.
I think the problem, too, is he's jogging down the ramp looking like I'm ready to do this. And now, look, he's like, oh. come on, he drops his head.
Yeah.
But I get it. That's a competitor in him, you know?
Yeah, he wants to go play. And sometimes that happens where
Yeah.
they get out there in front of it. Do you have a prediction for this one? Spurs OKC?
Oh, I hope this one goes 7, man, because this one's a blast to watch. Even if my team wasn't in it, I tell you what, man, I think I'm gonna shock you. I think I'm gonna go Spurs in 7.
Ooh.
Which is crazy. I kind of felt the Spurs in the beginning. I think that first win is big, man. That first win is huge.
Stealing that one on the road.
And that's another team that went through the first 2 series unscathed. 0 losses. They won a NBA championship last year. So they were I think they were double digits without losing a playoff game either. And then they lost. They got smacked in the mouth that first one. And I think that's huge. As long as guys come back healthy. I think if
that's what I was going to say. I'd probably lean toward OKC because of some of the injuries that are starting to mount, because of some of the experience they've had, been there, done that. I think I'll give them the slight edge, but I hope it goes 7.
So you think they get a game in San Antonio then?
I do.
Okay.
I think they'll steal one back.
Okay, that's fair.
We shall see.
Yeah.
Big news in the NFL. Couple quarterback-centric stories.
Yes.
Let's start off with Matthew Stafford, who, this is not surprising to me at all that he gets a 1-year deal, that he's coming back, MVP season last year. $55 million is the deal. Are you surprised it wasn't longer term?
That's exactly what I'm surprised about. So he's now locked in for 2 years, 105, and that's what I really wanted to ask you. Like at 37 years old, and I think right now, and this is from somebody who's been a staunch Mahomes guy for almost a decade now, I think it's the first time I would say I think there's a quarterback right now that could be better than Mahomes. I think he could be the best player in the league right now, Matthew Stafford, at 37. I don't think a 1-year extension that puts you under contract for 2 when you just drafted a guy in the first round screams you are part of our future plans. I'd love to know what you think about that. If you're Matthew Stafford, you just threw for 5,000 yards, you just won your first MVP, you've won a Super Bowl here, and now you're kind of floating like, all right, they just took a kid 13, and now I'm in their plans till I'm 39, where guys are playing till they're 45. How do you feel?
I wonder if this is Matthew Stafford has maybe given the Rams an indication of his timeline.
Oh, it could be.
That maybe he's doing them a solid, saying, hey, I got 2 more years left in me. I don't know. I don't want to be Tom Brady. I don't want to play till I'm 45. I don't even want to be Aaron Rodgers and play till I'm 42. If I go till I'm 40, that's a nice round number, right? It's coming up in a couple years. That maybe that is what's going on, because I was surprised at anybody that they took Ty Simpson at 13.
Definitely.
And so, what does that tell you? Do you read into that? Then you see this deal. If you start to read the tea leaves, I think it tells you that maybe Matthew Stafford has indicated to them, I got 2 more years left in me. And don't forget, as good as he played last season, I want to see him crush it again. I want to see him add another Super Bowl title to his resume, because I think for a long time, he was one of the more underappreciated, underrated quarterbacks.
Agreed.
Because of the time in Detroit, because, but remember, he had injuries in camp, and, his wife has had health issues that have been documented. Mm-hmm. Maybe just all right, 2 years and I'm done. That's 2 years is all I need. And that's all I need to chase the one more championship. But what will be really interesting is, everybody has a timeline, but circumstances unfold. If you got close in that year or 2 and you still putting up numbers like you did, do you extend that? And I think that's one where the Rams are like, all right, if you do that, we'll deal with it then. We'll address that situation then.
Or on the other side, what happens if the Rams come out and they don't play great? Are you more inclined now to get Ty Simpson into games where before you might have been like, yeah, we're going to let him sit here? No, you don't feel like any. I mean, is that because you don't like Ty Simpson at 13 or because?
No, because I think they're going to be good. If they're 5-10, or 5-7 even, and they're kind of out of the playoff mix, then yeah. And Stafford is, maybe he's been banged up and he's taken some hits and he maybe missed a couple. Then yes, it's hard for me to envision a scenario like that unfolding. Now it could. It's the NFL. We see strange things happen. Teams that we think are going to be good fall apart. But I still think you're going to roll out Matthew Stafford. I don't think the succession plan for Ty Simpson is for 2 years.
Yeah, that's so.
Which to me goes another reason why I think you wasted a pick.
100%. Because it's so vital that you learn what you have in these guys, especially at 13. Mahomes was picked 10th or 11th, right?
Right.
You have to see what you have in this quarterback so you know if that 5th year is going to be a thing or anything beyond. I just think, man, it's such a hard concept for me to grasp in a league that retires every one of us.
Right.
That a guy could be like, I just won an MVP, but I'm ready to get out of here in 2 years.
Right.
When everybody else is doing it now for so much longer, because it's the first time he's really been protected. He's got a great coach that's conducive to his success. They put great receivers around him, right? They continue to build the line and the staff and everything. He's in a great, probably the best position he's ever been in. And he looks as good now as he looked when he was 27 throwing a Megatron. So it's crazy.
So now
to me,
they could take the path that the Packers went. And this is what's interesting is that when they drafted Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers was pissed because I think he was like, hey, I want more players. Don't you know? And this one feels like everybody's on the same page. Matthew Stafford's okay with it. But the Packers, it worked out for them because Jordan Love sat for 2 years. And if that timeline unfolds, now they kind of gave him a unique contract extension without fully knowing. They really had that 1 year, but it's worked out for them so far. But that does put you in a tough bind if you have to start making a decision on your long-term future. And Ty Simpson, he's sitting there and he's only played. I mean, I'm looking at Jordan Love's first couple years. He played in 6 games. He had 60 pass attempts, probably in spot circumstances.
Yeah.
You don't know if that's the future of your franchise.
Yeah, 100%. I was just thinking exactly what you were saying along the lines of the Ty Simpson thing. I don't know, man. I think it was such a unique situation with the Love thing, and I think if the Packers could go back, I know they're glad that they have Jordan Love, but it was not an ideal situation. But when they were going through it, I'm sure they hated the situation that they were in. Like you wouldn't sign up for that if you're the Rams. I go back again to wonder about, and then the McVay thing. I'm not sure I'm totally convinced that McVay was all in on that pick. So
see, maybe that's where Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford have such a good relationship. They're both on the same timeline. Because I think that wouldn't surprise me at all, too. If McVay's like, I got 2 more years than me, too, before I go off to
Which
the TV
is so
booth.
interesting because he's like, isn't he like in his mid-40s right now?
Yeah, he's super young. But you're seeing this more. I don't think people realize how much of a toll it takes on your personal life, how much work it takes to be a head coach. I mean, Mike Tomlin isn't that old. He's older than Sean McVay, but Bill Cowher was not that old when he stepped aside and went to the booth, and he's been there ever since. Yeah. And then the money now that TV is offering to these guys, when you're talking about the lead guys, whether you're calling games, is $20 million. If you're studio, it's $10 million.
Yeah.
That's a lot better lifestyle than being a head coach and having to be on the hot seat if you don't win.
How tailor-made is Sean McVay for TV, too, right?
He'd be phenomenal.
You ever see those clips of Sean McVay?
Yeah, his memory, his recall.
Unbelievable.
Go back to the second quarter of 2019.
Right.
And
he can remember that drive. Oh, yeah, after he hit that guy, it was cover 3. I wound up hitting over in this corner. It was crazy, man. His ability to recall plays from any drive, any time of his career. Now, I think, you know what I think?
What?
If only we had a reporter who had insight on Sean McVay that could get us the story.
Do. Oh, boy. It's been kind of quiet on the Diana Rossini front. So.
I know.
Speaking of, we kind of talked about Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers, the tie-in there.
Yes.
Aaron Rodgers, zero surprise at all that he was coming back. I knew he was coming back. We talked about it at the draft.
Yes.
I did not think there was any chance he was going to play anywhere else. Mike McCarthy comes back. The thing that is interesting is that a couple days later we find out that Aaron Rodgers said, this is it. 1 more year. I don't think it's surprising at all that he's announced this. He does like to be the center of attention. He'll get a lot of flowers throughout the season, some goodbyes. Do you think this is it for him? Do you believe it?
It's so funny that you asked. I was going to cue you up with the same question, like you just said. And I love Aaron Rodgers, man. I think I probably feel a lot more positive about him than a lot of people do. No, I don't think if Aaron Rodgers goes out and throws for 4,700 yards this year or 4,500 yards and he's healthy, do I think he goes away, man? And that's just, I don't know. I think he's a competitor. Again, there is something to him loving that the story is about him. But a couple of questions for you on that front. A, what do you think about the money? You think 22 a year and 25 with incentives?
Yep.
A little heavier than you thought it would be, or lighter than you thought it would be?
I think this is a steal for the Steelers.
You do?
I think it's a great deal because the incentive part is what I love about it. Like, you have the incentives in there for him to make up to a certain amount. But a $22 million base salary, he's one of the cheapest starting quarterbacks in the league.
Okay. And then
I love that.
And then I want to ask you this, because he is such a polarizing figure, man. We've seen it for the last couple of years, and it wasn't like that always with him, right? He's been in the league now. I think this is going to be year 23. And I think it was around, obviously, like 2020, 2021, where I think he really started to get, like, polarizing to people, obviously, because he took a stance.
Yep.
And, not very many people did. So it's kind of like marred his legacy, I think. I want you to tell us, as a former starting quarterback, as somebody who's as plugged into the quarterback position as you can get on this set, what do you think Aaron Rodgers' legacy goes down as? With time and distance from his career? Because let's be real, if you put him in a vacuum, talent-wise, there ain't 4 quarterbacks better than this guy that's ever played, right?
And thankfully, he's got one. Because if he didn't have one, I think we'd be talking about him like Dan Marino, who was my all-time favorite, but he never got the Super Bowl ring. Got there, lost one. And I think, Aaron Rodgers is kind of in that territory. When you look at one of the best throwers of the football, he's almost, to me, reminds me a little bit of Steve Young, if he was right-handed Steve Young, the way he plays the game. The touchdown-interception ratio is off the charts, one of the best decision makers you've ever seen.
Yeah.
But he does have a complex legacy.
Yeah.
I think it goes even deeper than the COVID stuff when he wouldn't get the shot. It goes deeper than that because even before then, he's a little surly. Like, he's got a little edge to him, and his teammates always haven't raved about him. The exit. Like, for you to see a player complaining about a draft pick like he did with Jordan Love, for him to, I'm sure it was probably uncomfortable for him when Brett Favre, and he was in that situation, like trying to wait for his opportunity. I think he is an interesting case study in what is his legacy, but I do think the NFL media has turned on him. I think they do not, because when he did that, they felt like they lied to him. They didn't agree with his stance, even though now everything that you've seen from science looks like he was on the right side of history when he took that hardline stance. I think it's complex. I think he's one of the more intriguing, complex players that we've seen at the quarterback position in the history of the game.
And I can't tell if it's because maybe I'm somewhat of an Aaron Rodgers apologist that I seem to find a reason to kind of forgive him for everything he's done. So I look at how he said he was pissed about the Jordan Love pick, which in hindsight ended up being something that's fair because he won 2 MVPs. But Jordan Love is somebody who raves about how Aaron Rodgers treated him and said that till this day they still speak almost weekly. So I give him a pass for that, and I think I kind of put myself in that situation, and I think, how would I feel? And I think I'd probably feel like Aaron Rodgers feels, right? And then I think about when people say he was a bad teammate. And then I think about the time he went to New York and half the Packers followed him.
Right.
Randall Cobb followed him, right?
Yep.
2 O-linemen followed him. Devontae Adams followed him. And I think if he was that, and he played 4 snaps and wound up winning Teammate of the Year.
Right.
So I think
Zach
about
Wilson said he was great as a mentor.
So I think about so much of it. He is definitely a enigma, definitely a interesting individual who beats to his own drum. But I mean, from a talent perspective, like I said, the way he would extend plays, the arm talent. I mean, you've never seen anything like this guy. And I think it's a shame that over something so volatile like what happened. I think because that's the primary thing. I don't never heard he was a bad guy before this, and now people take shots as his character. They take
people still hold that against him. They hold it against him. He's been on Joe Rogan, right? He's kind of gotten more political, even though this thing that's crazy. He is not a hardcore conservative.
No,
it really just came down to his belief on his health. And if anything, I think he probably means more left. But the left has turned on him because of that single stance, which kind of shows you everything wrong in our society.
What's interesting is there's only one other guy that really I could kind of put in that same category as him, and it was Kyrie Irving, a guy whose talent, because there were guys who not wanted to take the shot when it was time, but they didn't have the athletic ability or the career accolades to kind of be able to have that luxury, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But it's the truth. Like, I know of people who are borderline roster guys who said, I don't have the choice. Mm-hmm. Well, Kyrie Irving and Aaron Rodgers were guys who were so talented that they gave themselves the choice. But it's interesting to see Kyrie Irving's bounce back, where people seem like they've been more willing to take him back and hear from, like, when I hear about Kyrie Irving now, it's more about his handles and his health, and it's not as much about, like, remember when Kyrie Irving was a jerk and refused to take so it's interesting the way that the two of them have gotten they're like redemption. It's been an interesting thing to me.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens this season with the Steelers. Currently, they're picked 3rd in the division.
Tough division.
So like if they make the playoffs, and they made them last year. Yeah. But healthy Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, division. New coaching staff there in Baltimore will be interesting to see, because I think if he goes, that's what I think. I think the reason he did this was so he doesn't have to answer questions all season long. And especially if they're like 500, people start asking, what are you going to do? End of the season, if they're on the borderline of making the playoffs or not, what are you going to do? Are you going to come back? He doesn't have to answer that.
Yeah.
But I do think what gets interesting, let's say they overexceed and they win the division, he's probably going to get asked still those last few weeks of the month of the season is, Are you sure you want to retire? And then I do think it does make me wonder if you're close as a competitor. Do you want to hang it up when you feel like, man, we could run it back and get one, maybe one more?
And isn't it really so funny, the parallels between him and Brett Favre at this point?
Yes.
Because the two of them, they did their thing in Green Bay. They both end up with the Jets, right? Now, I swore, man, and I still think to this day, I think there's a chance he goes to Minnesota over Kyler Murray if Brett Favre didn't go to Minnesota. Because I think at that point, people would have been like, this dude's doing everything that Brett Favre did.
Yes.
And now if he decides to say, I'm going to call it a career at the end of this year, and they go and they win a round of the playoffs, and he has the best year he's had in 4 years, and, his team loves him, and he's rejuiced, he's playing with McCarthy again, and then he decides to come back, it's just going to continue they're going to run a parallel trajectory to that Brett Favre career. I think it's funny just how that stuff works out.
Agreed. Big news in the UFC. Conor McGregor,
yes.
Max Holloway,
yes,
back. How excited are you about this? Where does this register on the Richter scale for you?
It is so interesting, man, because I think there were for about 5 years, and this is when I really became an MMA and a UFC fan, was Conor's rise. And there are few sports things that really can encapsulate, it literally took over the week for me. I was as excited for a McGregor fight on a Saturday as I was for a big NFL playoff game on a Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would take over the whole week. And then when there's a big playoff game, you're waiting for prime time, you get the snacks in the morning, the whole day revolves around this. All the boys are getting together. This is how I used to feel when Conor was at his peak. And we're about 5 or 6 years removed from any fight from him. And we haven't seen him really look like Conor in about, I'd say, 8.
Right.
So it's weird, man. Am I excited that he comes back? I'm thrilled that he's coming back. I just having him around is better for the sport, but I don't know if I'm quite as excited as I used to be. There's potential here because he and Max Holloway are bangers, man. The two of them are going to stand there and trade. There's going to be nobody like a pussyfooting around, man. Nobody's trying to submit anybody. It's going to be a blast. I mean, the two of them are going to get in there. What I would really love to see, and I love Max Holloway, so I'm so sorry to say this, is if he ends it in crazy fashion and can get himself back in the title picture, where we can just get 1 or 2 more big McGregor moments. Because when he was at his peak, on the podium,
one of the biggest stars on the globe.
On the globe,
yeah, like any sport, regardless of sport, it will be awesome. July 11th,
International
UFC
Fight Week.
329.
Yes, sir.
Should be a ton of fun.
Yep.
All right, let's finish it off. Let's rip some cards. Let's do it, man. You got some packs, and you said there's some big news.
Yeah. So, we're gonna rip 2025 Select, which is a cool product. At the same time today, there is Topps Chrome 2025 Sapphire Edition that's been dropped today. Ooh. Guys, if you have an extra $15K just lying around in the couch cushions, go ahead and get you one of those because that's going to be a monster product.
Wait.
Yes?
Did you say $15K or
$1,500?
Okay, I was going to say
$1,500
because I thought you said $15K and $1,500 is a lot of money, but I was like, okay,
no, $15K for a product, man.
Okay.
I mean, you're pulling something different. But,
yeah, you definitely are.
Yes, but the Topps Chrome that's been the hottest product in the hobby for the last month or two because it's the first time Topps has had the license in 20 years. Well, they're going to release their Sapphire version, so that's supposed to be sick.
You know what I told John here before the show was starting? I put it on the text thread. Some of our UFC cards, now I couldn't pronounce half of them, but I went and looked up the values on them. Yeah. They're kind of sneaky good. Dude, there was like a lot of bangers in there.
Dude, that was a great box. I even like the quality of the cards, which is something you feel. Like, yes. I've opened some of the UFC cards, and I'm like, oh, these kind of feel like paper. And I hated them. The Topps Chrome did a really good job with them, and that's something where if you have the time to comp them all and list them, you probably make your money back quick with the UFCs.
Yep.
All right, you're up first. Go for it.
All right. Let's see what we got.
Right now, real quick, what we're looking for is zebra print, guys. We're looking for autos and memorabilia cards, and we're looking for tie-dyes.
All right, there we go. Nico Collins.
Nice.
Chase Brown. I have so many Chase Brown. Do you ever find that you get a ton of players, just the same players?
Yes, all the time.
Little Josh Allen standard, and then Trey Harris, little rookie card.
We talked about it before today. Josh Allen, the 5th NFL player to have a card go for $1 million. He sold one logo man yesterday for 1.3.
Who were the other ones? Brady?
Mahomes is first overall, 4.3. Brady for 3 something. Who else? You guys can probably check that. I know.
Is it a current player?
It's Justin Herbert, 1.6. I'm missing just the 5th. So it's
Lamar Jackson?
It might be Lamar Jackson, actually. It might be. He doesn't get a lot of love in the hobby like he should, though.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe, rookie. Jameer Gibbs, arguably the best back in football. There's Marshawn Lattimore. Hey, and there's great CMC on the turbocharged. So a lot of base.
A lot of base. A lot of base.
A lot of base.
I got to decide what to do with my base. I've been just throwing them out, honestly.
It's horrible.
Al Collins, little rookie card. Rome Dunze.
Hey, that's not too bad.
Another Trey Harris. Remember we said we just had him. So we were stacking up the Trey Harris collection, and then Alec Ayo-Manor.
Ayo-Manor.
Stanford, right?
Yeah. Good player.
Stud.
All right.
Card ain't worth
Trav,
squat,
how about rookie Travis Hunter? Not too bad.
There we go.
If it wasn't a base, it'd be great.
I actually have a ton of his.
Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah.
There's Najee Harris in the Chargers uni.
There you go.
And there's a great Devontae Adams.
So we ain't got no zebras, no tie-dyes,
right
no
now,
nothing.
guys. No, we got nothing
Not
right
yet.
now.
How much did you pay for these bad boys?
More than I should have.
JT Tuiamalo.
I'm glad you got him and not me.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Yeah, base.
Is it base?
Yeah. I think so,
It
right?
looked like a little hollow in the back, but no, I guess that is a base.
Pretty base. Tyleek Williams, rookie card, and Trey Harris.
No, is that Trey Harris
fire.
again?
You got to be kidding me.
3 packs?
I have a Trey Harris personal collection going on right here. Select certified.
That's brutal. Oh, all right. So far, not great, guys. Not great.
Not great.
I can assure you guys, we do have a meeting with a card company soon. We're trying to improve this. How about Chuba Hubbard, Oklahoma State? There's Herbie. It's Tyler Loop. If this was Danny, he'd say, kicker.
Yeah,
so I'll say it for him.
Thank you.
And Malachi Starks on the future rookie. All right, so far, so bad. Yes, so far, real bad.
Can
we just get
something.
one?
Just something. Just a number. I don't even care. If it's a kicker, I'll take a kicker, you know?
It can only – what numbered kickers could be
Michael
like Butker
Penix
and who else?
Jr.
Nice.
Base. He's not even starting this year. It's going to be Tua's show. Ashton Genty, rookie card. That's probably the best one we have in here so far, right?
So far, yeah.
Nico Collins.
Oh, that's not a bad parallel.
No. Patrick Surtain.
I saw Patrick Surtain in a training facility this week.
He's from around here. American Heritage, right down the school.
Yes, sir. Dad was great, too. RJ Harvey. Tucker Kraft. Oh, I see some color back there. Do we have anything? A little AJ Green on a red, white, and blue. That's not too bad.
That's kind of nice.
We'll keep that one off to the side. We'll make have to comp that thing at the end.
Yeah.
Not going to be great, but it's something.
Yeah.
AJ Green was a stud. He doesn't get a lot of love, does he?
No. Rashad Bateman, one of Lamar's targets. Terrence Ferguson. Mike Evans, now a 49er. And Jamar Chase, select numbers.
Okay. Is it numbered?
I doubt it.
Yeah, me too.
No.
Well, can I ask you something while I open this next one, dude?
Yeah.
It's been getting a lot of steam that after June 1st, and you may know this from your time, dude, is Odell Beckham going to be a Giant again?
Oh, come on.
I know. You're not happy about it, but did you hear that?
I have not heard that. I guess if you're trying to do him a solid, let him come into camp, see if he can win a job. Well, some of the news
Talk about the news, yeah.
Well, Malik Neighbors, the rehab process has been complicated.
Couple hiccups, right?
Yeah, a couple hiccups. But still, like, you're not replacing Malik Neighbors with Odell Beckham. Like, that's, to me, this brings in the NFL draft way more into the picture. If they knew about this, clearly they probably didn't, because they could have had some of the top wide receivers in the draft, and they went with different positions.
We probably should have just ripped in a whole nother segment, because the GM who went just through it, we just talked about him getting an extension out of nowhere, right?
Yes.
We got to catch up on some of this. All right, Cam Ward, first overall pick.
Nice rookie
Not
card.
too bad.
That's a good one.
Stand that up next to Ash.
Need to have him having a little better year this year, and then it'll come increase that value.
Cheetah. Who another one is they're talking about going back to KC.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Odell and Cheetah. There's Javon Holland. I feel like we got a little something back here.
Yep.
Quinshawn Judkins on the select certified rookie. Not too bad.
That's pretty good. Jamie and Sherwood.
It's good for the Jets.
Troy Aikman.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't expect to see that.
Way cooler if it was numbered or autoed. Joe Milton, who was on fire, and when he came out, everybody thought he was going to be the next big thing. I sadly don't think so. That's probably why this card isn't worth squat. And Will Howard, another one who was drafted in the 6th round, I believe, by the Steelers, and now they have drafted his successor in Drew Aller for the Steelers.
Yes. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up here with Kendry Miller. I'm going to tell you something. For the rest of my life, if I showed you that, what do you think?
What do you mean?
I think Reggie Bush.
Oh,
I can never
from the body type, you know?
No, number 25 on the Saints.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, I pulled that card out, and I went, Reggie Bush? And it's not Reggie Bush, unfortunately.
Went back to his USC
How about
number. Ooh.
Jonah. You want to do that for me? Yeah.
It's kind of a cool card.
Yeah, it is actually. Is it a tiger print?
Yeah, I think it is.
Rashid Shaheed. That actually might be our best one.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me fire it up.
I don't know if it's a tiger print, but the tiger print and the zebra print. Oh, it's numbered too.
Oh, it is.
This one is numbered to.
Let's see that bad boy.
Numbered. It's numbered to like 400. It's numbered even higher. That might be the highest number I've ever seen.
1,000.
It's numbered to 899.
Come on.
$8.99.
I'll get you a little value.
Guys, that's going to do it for.
I'll give you a little value here.
We owe you guys some better packs. I promise you, we're going to get you some better stuff.
Yeah.
If you guys want to watch it, if you guys stay to watch it, we're gonna rip you something better.
I want to see some drama here.
All right, go for it.
Let's see. Let's see when this thing comes through, and then I got to bounce.
Yeah, this is not going to be the one, my man.
What do you think? $11 or lower?
No, lower than that.
Oh, come on.
Significantly lower.
$3?
Yeah,
Will it even make the $3 standard?
The $3 ball.
The lowest I've ever seen was some packs I had the other day. It was like 10 cents.
Oof.
They were like
I think the AJ
unlicensed.
Green. This one might have a little juice, just because of
it's
the
on the rainbow.
the
this
parallel.
one's probably searching. It doesn't even know what to look for.
Oh.
All right, I got to bounce. It's been a fun show. One of these days, we're going to have an explosive viral pull.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go nuts when we do. It's going to make it feel that much better. That's the thing. It's going to make it feel better when we do pull it.
I think the few hits we have, dude, we do have a couple of autos.
$1.76.
There you go.
$1.76 for that.
There you go.
Numbered.
For that butte. So what I think I got to do is I got to get rid of all the we have had a couple of hits along the way. And I have to just trade them in for a nice box. We're gonna get a nice box.
We'll do it. We'll pull them together.
This time.
And we'll do that. All right. Make sure you check us out. Subscribe, comment, like the channel. Tell your friends about it. We appreciate it when you do. At Danny Cannell.
At Man O' Steel. And guys, the last 30 seconds, I just want to show a little love and say rest in peace to the great Kyle Busch. Not exactly sure what the story is yet, but unfortunately he wasn't feeling well. And yesterday, in a matter of hours, he lost his life. So shout out to Kyle Busch. Rest in peace, my man. You were the greatest at what you do. And to your loved ones, we are praying for you all.